Today we are assembling the 1050 2B Gen 2 new pellet grill from Z Grills. In this video I'll be showing you how to assemble it from start to finish, and also I'll share with you how to do the burn off before you do your first cook. But before I assemble this, I want to share with you guys probably one of the hottest deals I've ever seen in my life when it comes to these pellet grills. The company Z Grills is doing a reward crowdfunding program where you buy one pellet grill, and then every 5 years after that, for the next 50 years, they're going to send you a new pellet grill. That's buy one, get 10 free. And to be honest, when I first heard of it, the first thing that came to my mind was, this is a scam. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I did a little bit of research, I did a little bit of digging, and this company actually does have a track record of staying true to their word on similar promotions. Back, I think, like 7 or 8 years ago, they offered a buy a pellet grill and get a full refund 5 years later. And based on the research that I have done, and all the different trust rating websites have all said that they stayed true to their word. So I think that they're gonna follow through on this, and this is different than any type of other crowdfunding that you do, because you're actually receiving a product upon payment, and it's just the promise that you're gonna get the stuff later is what you have to trust them on. If you're in the market for a new pellet grill, I have a link down in the description below that if you guys go ahead and use that link, it's gonna help me out. I get a little small commission, and hey, me and you could have the same grill and apparently a new one every 5 years for the next 50 years. So they sent me one of these here today to build and to share with you guys. So I'm gonna share my honest opinions and thoughts, but let's get into this build. The first thing we're gonna do is open up our package and get all of the components out. And as you guys can see, some engineers probably spent a lot of time figuring out how to do this, because everything is so beautifully packaged in here. Every square inch is utilized just perfectly. Then you want to go ahead and get all 4 of your legs into the correct spots on the smoker after it's turned upside down. Each leg is going to get 2 A screws, so I'm going to hand start all 4 of my legs, and then I'm going to come back with the screwdriver that they give you to tighten them down. Now that our 4 legs are tightened down, we're going to assemble the bottom grate. Make sure that you get it lined up into all 4 holes, and I like to hand start each little thread with the A screws before I tighten any of them down, just to make sure that none of them get cross threaded. Next up, we're going to be installing our foot pads. And our foot pads are going to go on the same side that the opening for our hopper goes in. And you want to make sure you take a close look at the diagram to make sure the foot pads are positioned facing out. On the opposite side, we're going to insert our axle through the 2 legs. Before we put our wheel on, we're going to put on one of our C gaskets. So it's going to go C gasket, wheel, C gasket. Then we're going to secure it with a B nut, and then use your little wrench to tighten it down. Then you're going to repeat those steps on the opposite side. Now if you look on your hopper, there's some screws towards the top that are already in there. We're going to go ahead and take those out. We're going to locate our hopper lid. Make sure that you flip those hinges down, and then we're going to screw in the hopper lid. Now that we got our hopper lid on, get your grill flipped upright again. Now you're just going to go ahead and stick it through that hole. Just be careful before you let go. Make sure that it rests on itself, and then go ahead and get your screws. Then you're going to want to get 4 E bolts and then 4 D gaskets. Those D gaskets are going to go over the bolt, and then you're going to go ahead and with one hand kind of lift that hopper up into place, and then I'm going to go ahead and hand thread the top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right holes with those gaskets and bolts. Now that they're all hand started, I'm going to go ahead and use my wrench to turn them all down. Now this next step is crucial, because I made a mistake the first time that I built this. I was not paying attention. You're going to get 2 of your A screws. Then you want to make sure that you locate part number 26, which is a little metal piece that is going to actually be the supports for your drain pan. So you're going to want to put that in there and then screw it down with your 2 A screws. Next up is your hopper handle, which is really simple. You're just going to get your hopper handle on there with some 2 A screws. The next part is a little bit tricky. You're going to go ahead and want to get your smokestack and that gasket. And you're going to want to make sure that the gasket is resting up against the smokestack, but on the outside of the smoker. Then you're going to want to take 4 F bolts, insert them through the holes from the outside of the smoker going in. Then you're going to want to use the D gasket and the G nut. I went ahead and put that gasket on over the bolt, and then used that nut, and I kind of just hand started one while I held it on the outside, and then I got the same one on the opposite side, and then it kind of stabilized in place, and I was able to hand start the rest of them, and then I came back around with my wrench and I tightened them all down. Then to get the little hat for the smokestack on is pretty simple and easy. They already have that nut on there where you want to tighten it down to, so you just spin it on the top all the way down until it's nice and snug. Then we're going to get our lid handle on. Get your E bolts and your D gaskets. Take that E bolt, put the D gasket over it. You're going to put it through through the hole and then use part number 4, that little silver cap, and you're gonna wanna rest it on there. And then at that point, you're gonna wanna get the actual handle and kind of get that started on there until it's nice and tight. I left mine at about 80%. I didn't wanna tighten it on until I get the other one on and make sure that they're both in the right spot, and then I tighten it on fully at the end. Now we could put our heat baffle in, and it's pretty simple. Then go ahead and put your drain pan on. The part that slopes at the end is gonna go down into the little grease catch, and then the part that has the 2 slots at the top is gonna sit on top of our drain support. Then we're gonna play a little bit of musical chairs and get all those racks in there. And then you're gonna go ahead and make sure you get your grease bucket on. And this part I somehow forgot to film. There's some preset screws in the back of the hopper on the bottom. Take those 2 screws out, kind of how we did for the hopper lid. Take your little wire rung and you're gonna set that on there. Get those 2 screwed on, and then this is gonna be where you wrap your cord. Next up, we're gonna locate the pellet clean out baffle. Then we're gonna insert that into its slot. And then we're gonna tighten it down with that little nut that it gave us. And then we're gonna tighten it down with a little butterfly screw that they gave us. And last but not least, one of my favorite parts of this pellet grill is there is an ash clean out cup. So you're just gonna go underneath the smoker on the bottom and make sure that that's on nice and snug. Now your Z grill is fully assembled and it is ready to be burned off. So let's go ahead and get our grill outside. We're gonna get it plugged into a power source, and then we are going to take out all of the racks, that drain pan, and the heat baffle. Press the button to turn it on, and then we wanna look inside of the hopper to make sure that there's no debris in there. And we're gonna look inside the smoker to make sure that the auger is turning. Once you see that your auger is turning, you're gonna go ahead and stick your hand over that firebox and make sure that you feel the fan blowing. And then if you wait for about 2 more minutes after that, you should see the heat rod let off some of that heat. At this point, turn off your pellet grill, and we're gonna get the hopper loaded up with some of those Z Grill's cherry pellets. Once the hopper is loaded up, we're gonna turn the pellet grill back on to initiate that auger, and it says in the diagram that it takes about 8 minutes for the pellets to fully run through the auger. I was also building a chicken coop while I was building this, and I got sidetracked, and I let this go for like 15 minutes, and I came back to a big fire. So you just wanna make sure at this point, once the pellets get through to your firebox, that you shut down your smoker, you wait 10 minutes for it to cool off, then you can go ahead and put that heat baffle back in, put back in your drain pan, put back in all of your grates. Then we're gonna fire it up one more time, turn it up to max temp at 450 degrees, and then we're gonna wanna make sure you let this run for 30 minutes. I let mine go for an hour. I'm not playing games. I have no idea what kind of chemicals are in here. They say to do the burn off for a reason, so you might as well make sure that you really burn it off. Now that your smoker is assembled and it is fully burned off, you are ready to cook on it. I really hope this video has helped you if you just bought this grill and you wanted to see how to assemble it, or if you're looking to buy one yourself and just want to see how it's built. If you do end up buying one, make sure you use my link in the description box below. I get a little small commission. It helps me to keep making videos and invest in new products and different things that you guys see on this channel. And make sure you guys subscribe. I'm posting a new video every single Friday. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.